So we're going to talk about what game developers want. So trying to get a little bit of a sense of what's important from blockchain if you're making games from the people who are making games. So where should we start? I haven't had a chance to say hello to Mickey since I got here. Hello, Mickey. How you doing?
Hi, Oscar. How are you?
Mickey, do you want to tell people who you are and what you do?
I'm Mickey Maher. I'm head of revenue and gaming partnerships at Dapper Labs. Dapper Labs is the company who runs and made CryptoKitties.
Tony.
Hi, my name's Tony Pierce. I'm the co-founder of a company called Reality Gaming Group. They have created a augmented reality platform and a marketplace where you can trade in-game assets. The first game to come out on this platform is called Reality Clash, which is an augmented reality combat game. So think Pokemon Go meets Call of Duty. It's on the app stores in Europe, comes out in the US in July. It's free to download. You go out into the streets, you join your friends, you defend certain areas in the city, like parks, and then you can go into combat and take over resources and stuff. On the side of that, we have a marketplace which sells in-game weapons, which are all ERC20, tokenized on the Ethereum blockchain, about to be changed to ERC721s. And those, the marketplace has just gone crazy. So even before the game came out, we were selling thousands of weapons with users basically speculating that they're going to go up in value, or they can download them into the mobile game and look really cool with this exclusive gun that is tradable. So that's a first as well, where Apple have allowed something from the outside to come into a game and then can be extracted back out and sold.
And glad we know. So Randy, do you want to... Do you want to talk?
Okay, so I have a mic, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm Vladimir Tomko, I'm the CEO and game producer of Blockchain Cuties. So I just told you about myself, and we're developing the game and the universe around it. So this year we plan to be heavy on setting, on lore stuff, and we plan to integrate with different projects that try to create inter-game assets. Like Engine, for example, and maybe to introduce those assets as a part of our universe.
And Randy.
Hi, Randy Saff. I'm the CEO of Lucid Sight. Lucid Sight's best known for our games MLB Crypto Baseball, where we have an official license with the Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association, and also our space game CSC.
So I'm kind of, there's lots of talent, there's lots of ability. Why blockchain? Why was blockchain an important aspect for you? Randy, do you want to start with that?
Sure. So we actually, we're a game studio before Ethereum was even born. And we grew up, my partner Octavio and I, we grew up in the 80s. We were children of the 80s. We co-founded one of the first iPhone gaming companies in 2008 called Gerbo, which eventually became the large ad network Ad Colony. We had 14 of the first 100 free iPhone games. And we've seen this basically decimation of the physical marketplace for anything collectible. It's been completely, by digital natives, kids growing up with an iPhone by the time they're 9, playing Fortnite. They don't want physical tchotchkes anymore. So we thought, when Ethereum first came out, we thought this might be a real opportunity to reinvent basically baseball cards, reinvent collectibles in general, but baseball being sort of the quintessential collectible. So that's really our motivation is to, recapture some of the magic of ownership, of fandom, that's just kind of been destroyed by the digital native and people who grew up with MP3s and Fortnite skins.
Vlad, why blockchain for you?
Well, the most important stuff is that in regular games and free-to-play games, you don't own anything, you just rent it, and you sign the EOL agreement. If you do something wrong, for example, try to sell your assets via black market, you will get banned. And crypto creates this, blockchain creates this real open market relationship between developer and players. If they buy something, it's theirs forever, and they can do whatever they want, like a secondary market for cars, for example. If BMW sells you the car, then you can sell it to anybody else. They don't take an additional commission. They sell parts to you, but this is like where everybody else was living like for the last hundreds of years. So this market exists everywhere, and I like to embrace it that now it also exists in games. It is harder, more challenging to create economies that not only rely on the market that you create and control totally, but also take everything from the markets that underlie it. But it's a new challenge. It is very interesting, and I believe that blockchain is the thing that will create additional workplaces, even for kids. If we take, for example, like CryptoKitties, and we take like African kids, somebody gifted them like a little bit of ether, showed them how to do some stuff in CryptoKitties, and now they breed. They, for example, learn how to create Jagger cats, and they sell it, and they earn real money, which is liquid. And sometimes they can earn, like at the age of 12, even more than their dads do. This is very important. This is something new that was never before.
Same question to you, Tony. Why blockchain?
Well, actually, we kind of fell into it because the original idea was just to create a mobile game, and we came up with this game design concept about 2.5 years ago, and we went out to raise cash through VCs, and at the same time, I came across ICOs. And we changed route, and we did an ICO and successfully closed that almost 2 years ago. So we were one of the first mobile games companies to do an ICO, and that allowed us to sell our own currency. So we sold 14 million Reality Clash coins into the market. So suddenly we had a token, and suddenly we thought, well, with this token, we now need to or look at other opportunities, and hence the collectible side, which at the time was very new. And that's how we got into the blockchain part. But actually, I'm more excited now about the NFT and the whole collectible side than I am with the actual game, because I think the game itself is going to monetize and will be a success, and that's where the initial revenue is going to come from. But I think in the long term, the fact that you now own these assets and you can potentially take them out of the game and play it in another game that we do, or another game someone else is doing, or just sell it is it's a game changer.
So, Mickey, obviously, I know you come in to the CryptoKitties world, but why did you do that? And for you, what is the value? Why is crypto so important for the team that you're working with?
Well, be clear, Oscar, I didn't do anything. I just joined a company that did something. But
I'm trying to build your part up here, man.
Yeah. So the history and why we did CryptoKitties, there's a company in Vancouver, Canada called Axiom Zen. It's a venture studio incubator. Essentially what happens is we take talented people, we let them work on projects that sometimes turn into companies. So the CEO basically said, hey, I think this blockchain thing is a thing, but I think it's a thing not really in the crypto space, but I think we could drive mass consumer adoption to the blockchain. So 5-6 people within Axiom Zen, let's create something for the consumer blockchain. So CryptoKitties was born, and there's a lot of interesting tidbits in there, but we're on a blockchain gaming panel and not a blockchain collectible panel. And I think, CryptoKitties was a test, and the success was, some part luck, some part execution, but a lot of it was luck. And one thing was, and it could have went either way, but what we believe internally, and there's no way to prove this, we believe internally that if we just launched kitties as collectibles, it wouldn't have been successful. But the slight gaming mechanic that is just breeding gave the players such agency that that's what made it explode and become a phenomenon. So just that slight gaming aspect or gaming mechanic that you actually needed the blockchain to execute made it the success that it is and was.
I think that agency is actually really important, and kind of makes me think of you, Annie. Is that with the classical classical basketball card, or baseball card, or whatever the collectible might be, that wasn't something that was feasible.
Yeah, that's right. So we reimagined, we had the luxury of saying, would a baseball card look like if you reinvented it today? And if it was a piece of, cardboard and give it to a 13-year-old kid, they say, what does it do? So we made our game interactive as well. Our game is sort of, like fantasy in the sense that you watch a game, You play along with the game. You set your lineup, and then if you win, you get another collectible that is, or points that you can use to acquire other collectibles that memorialize the long tail of baseball events. If Mike Trout hits a grand slam to win the playoffs, that'll generate a very rare collectible that you may then acquire, and then you can keep it, sell it, give it to your kid, put it in a museum, whatever you want to do.
But what are the challenges that come with that? What's the sort of core design and conceptual or even technical challenge?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, look, we launched our game last season in kind of an alpha beta state. It was just a lot getting the licenses lined up and getting everything going. We learned that the onboarding process with crypto is quite challenging. We had a lot of really dedicated fandom early adopters. Unique to our game, versus a lot of blockchain games, 75% of our players had never owned Ethereum before. I think a lot of people in CryptoKitties never owned Ethereum before as well. Basically we know the funnel was started very large because we're on MLB.com/fantasy. It was like basically we're getting traffic from MLB, but the acquiring of Ethereum, the Ether, setting up MetaMask, all that stuff was too much. So this season, we've taken that lesson and we've removed all the frictions of the onboarding process that people can jump into the game without Ether. And that's going to be our big kind of crossover this year. And then they can get into the crypto part at the point they want to. And then we'll have a nice kind of gentle onboarding process. But I think that was our major takeaway from last year.
So, but is that same? I mean, obviously you talked earlier, but is that the same for you? I mean, does that resonate?
Well, it's partly the same because at first we didn't want to something that is not connected to crypto. We did ads on crypto-related websites, so people were educated. They had Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and so on. We didn't have a chance to be like on MLB.com/fantasy. So our people were educated, but because we went to different blockchains trying to expand the audience, we find out that those audience are very different, and the onboarding process is also very different from blockchain to blockchain. For example, right now we know how to onboard Ethereum users pretty easily. We know the exact funnel, the exact things we need to do. They convert to Tron users very poorly, and they never convert to EOS users, and we don't know how to get them. So. But basically, on the market, it is true. There is a group of people, pretty small one. In January, it was like 29,000 daily active wallets that were playing games, and this is the whole market right now. And they are educated, and they are spread across like 4 different blockchains at the moment. So very small comparing to the native mobile applications. But if we try to outreach the broader audience, of course you need to create like a proxy. You need to allow people to try the game, to taste the value, and then when they want to receive the value and be like owners of that, they would need to jump into crypto. A lot of games are doing that at the moment. Some are even trying how to do it properly with fiat and mobile applications, and then allow the people to become an owner of the crypto only when the developer knows that these people won't scam him, that he won't try to do a refund after he spent fiat. So the market is evolving towards audience that are not into crypto, and there are many ways to explore right now.
So, not really a loaded question because I probably know half the answers. Tony, what's the challenges for you in that space?
Well, so the market, let's be honest, is tiny, right? 29,000 crypto wallets, or 29,000 people, gamers, have crypto wallets. I mean, there's 2.5 billion gamers in the world. In fact, actually, there's about 25 to 30 million wallets that have any type of cryptocurrency out there.
Yeah.
If 1% of the gaming market, just 1%, that would double the amount of wallets in the whole world overnight. We're scratching the surface, right? Literally, it's so small. So I think the challenge right now is to get more gamers in and make it easy. The UI, the pain, if you don't understand it, to buy tokens through exchanges right now is, just hitting with a KYC wall puts a ton of people off.
It's terrifying.
We've just, on our website, you can buy Reality Clash coins now with a credit card from us, right? You don't have to go to an exchange because that just puts people off until it becomes easier. But we charge a premium, right? We put, and it's our coin price is linked into an exchange, and we put 20% on top. Yeah, you're paying a premium, but everyone knows how to buy stuff with a credit card, right? So we're trying to break that barrier down. But if anyone can do it, it has to be games companies. We're supposed to be UI experts. We invented virtual currency, right? So if we can't do it, no one can. So I think that we need to make that process so simple. And actually, people shouldn't even know that there's a blockchain. Shouldn't even care about it. It just should be in the background and just understand that it's logged, and now I can do anything with this crypto asset, and I can sell it and trade it, and that process needs to be simplified, and it's getting there. That's for sure.
I mean, it should be seamless as like gold or gems in a game. It's just the thing.
Can you imagine, like Amazon, for example, if you buy goods and stick it into your basket, can you imagine being charged a gas fee every time you do that? Well, that's exactly what's happening now.
Yeah.
Like, you need to get rid of that. Now, you can't get rid of it because that's how the blockchain works. But what games companies should do is take on that cost and make it seamless and just build it into the product.
Yeah. Exactly. Mickey, what do you think?
I have something to add. There are blockchains that don't take this gas already.
Yeah, that's what. But so when we started it, there was no other blockchains. Now you've got Tron, you've got EOS, you've got all these great blockchains that are much faster. That's the other issue. Speed is ridiculous. So we use the Ethereum blockchain, which was that was the only one there, and actually it's getting better. But it can take 24 hours to tokenize one of our weapons. What? That's how long it can take it if the network's busy.
But I blame CryptoKitties because, of course, it was so successful. No, I'm joking. But
these guys took the Ethereum blockchain down.
Well, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. It's like you guys are at the cutting edge of this. It's like you're having to face all those problems. I mean, is that the major issue for you, the capacity of the networks you're working with, or are there other challenges?
I'll be brief here because I don't want to be redundant. It's much what everyone else said, but the first thing that needs to be fixed is the friction or the funnel. You're never going to get mass adoption with the way users are onboarded today and how much it costs to actually play, gas fees, whatnot. But let's say we do fix the funnel. Let's say Randy's amazing baseball game actually was funneling users in and they were converting. Then we have the next big problem is scalability, right? And even like if people were going to play MLB crypto like they collected baseball cards, that's millions and millions and millions of users that Randy could expect to come to his game. I don't know if there's a blockchain on Earth that can support that type of volume and that type of transaction volume. So even if onboarding was fixed, we'd still have a problem, and that problem would be scalability and speed, et cetera.
Yeah. So given that, what's the one thing you want to see from platforms? Is it about scalability, or are there other fundamental things that you think are still missing?
We have a different perspective than some other folks on this, and a lot of the companies and protocols and blockchains are working on speed and working on scalability, but they're sacrificing other real core functionalities or benefits that the blockchain offers in order to do that. At least from some of the stuff that we found with CryptoKitties, working on side chains or working on shards, some of the magic of CryptoKitties would not have worked at all, if not nearly as well, with this sharded environment or on a side chain. Right now, I think no matter what you choose, you're having to sacrifice something that, is some type of the magic the blockchain offers to gaming.
That makes sense. So we're running out of time, so I'm just going to kind of ask the last question, which is basically, what's the one piece of advice you give to the game developers in the room? So Randy, do you want to start with that?
Well, it's kind of obvious, but I think that you can either have a game that's very blockchain heavy and not a very fun game, or you can have a game that uses blockchain as a feature that could be a fun game. And I think that that's kind of the fundamentally where things are with the technology. I kind of analogize it to, the internet. When you played Doom, in the early days before the internet, then the internet came around, there were death matches. It just changed the game. It was like a new way of playing. You didn't need to Doom wasn't an internet-first game. It was a game that used internet as a feature, and that's kind of how we look at it. Now, the flip side of it, there's a spectrum of consumers for this stuff. So there's some people who want the full blockchain experience, and they will pay a lot of money for that full blockchain experience. And then there's others who just want to use the blockchain for the digital ownership, or maybe some other feature of blockchain. So it's not black and white. It's not black and white. Don't go in thinking that exactly what the consumer wants. And I think right now we're still in the experimental phase of what the consumer wants.
Yeah, I totally agree. And my advice depends on what do you plan to do. Either you want to be like a crypto anarchist, create something purely blockchain related, or you want to earn money. If you want to do games for business, like majority of people here are doing, I believe you need to choose something that has better educated audience, that has better infrastructure, more developed, better community, and better earning capabilities. Right now, there are only 3 blockchains that do so. It's Ethereum, Tron, and EOS. Both of them have different pluses and different minuses. I suggest you think before developing what exactly do you want to achieve. If we're speaking about the general case, as I've told in my presentation, I would suggest you go with Tron and try to partner with as many people here that could provide you audience, because this is the most important stuff. As Randy told, we're in the middle of experimentation. We don't know a lot of things for sure. So this time will go, and we need to learn this stuff. And you need to learn while you have audience, because the things the most important things you learn is from the feedback, either from the worded feedback or from the metrics of your audience. So you need to create, if you want to create a better business, try to take the blockchain that at least doesn't hinder your onboarding process.
And Tony?
Yeah, I think I agree with everything. I think we're in such an early stage that this time next year something else would have changed to make the game better. So I think game first, blockchain second. Do you need blockchain in it in the first place, and why are you going to use it? And then just get the users in.
Mickey?
Yeah, I think a couple things. That a core tenet of our company is games are the gateway to new scary technology. So games are fun, they make technology fun. It allows a mass audience to experience new technology in new and neat ways. So that's what we believe that gaming will do for the blockchain. And I'll say this, if you look at any major gaming platforms, which are now looked at as major gaming platforms, these platforms were built by indies. The incumbents, the big companies didn't come in and win this business. Browser games, PC games, Facebook games, iPhone games, all won by indies, okay? The same thing is gonna be true here. Blockchain gaming is gonna be built by a few people in a garage coming up, exploring this new technology and building amazing things on it. So the advice I would give is, I don't have that much advice because it's just so nascent and new. Just jump in and build awesome, amazing experiences and show everyone what can be done on this and show everyone what amazing experiences can be built on this. So it's new and it's ready for for many developers to come in and take advantage of it.
Well, perfect way to end. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.